A very warm welcome to everyone joining us on Vishvavahini Digital E-News. This is Madhavi. Let's take a look on last week's top stories. Up first, we have Sunday Observer, where President, IMF Chief holds decisive discussions. Talks focus on EFF debt restructuring. Sri Lanka edges closer to IMF facility. IMF endorses CBSL moves. Sri Lanka edged closer to securing a US $2.9 billion extended fund facility from the International Monetary Fund following an extensive Zoom discussion on Thursday between its Managing Director Kristalina Georgieva and President Ranil Wickremesinghe. Government allays food security fears. A bountiful paddy harvest this Maha season and rapid action taken by President Ranil Wickremesinghe in the past year to implement agriculture policy, social protection measures, food protection and nutrition initiatives have contributed to alleviating the possibility of the nation suffering from the consequences of a global food crisis this year, Agriculture Minister Mahinda Amaraveera said on the 4th of March. International Women's Day celebration 2023 on March 8th. The International Women's Day celebrations 2023 themed She is the Pride of the Nation will be held at the Water's Edge Batharamulla on March 8 under the patronage of President Ranil Wickremesinghe. It is dedicated to honor the remarkable achievements of Sri Lankan women. World Bank to provide US $1.5 billion over the next 2 years. Top representatives from the World Bank have said that the World Bank will continue to support Sri Lanka's development reforms program. In this respect, the World Bank has agreed to provide nearly $1.5 billion to Sri Lanka for the next 2 years. The assurance has been given by the Vice President of the South Asian region of World Bank, Martin Razor, and a group of World Bank representatives who met President Ranil Wickremesinghe at the Presidential Secretariat recently. Up next on Ceylon Today, we have SC restrains Treasury SECY AG from withholding funds allocated for polls. Petition fixed for the 26th of May. LG election cannot be delayed at the whim of certain officials, petitioners' lawyers. The Supreme Court on the 3rd of March issued an interim order restraining the Secretary to the Treasury and the Attorney General on behalf of the Minister of Finance from withholding any funds allocated by the activity budget estimates for the fiscal year 2023 and or the budget for the year 2023 for the purpose of conducting local government polls 2023. Health bigwigs dodge HRCSL. The Health Secretary, the Director General Health Services and the Chairman of the National Medicines Regulatory Authority failed to appear before the Human Rights Commission of Sri Lanka on the 3rd of March for an investigation into the complaint lodged by the Medical and Civil Rights Professional Association of Doctors and the Sri Lanka Medical Association. Opposition to stage joint protest in Parliament on the 9th of March. Opposition parties in Parliament have initiated discussions with the aim of mounting a joint protest in the House to pressure the government to hold the local government election on 2023. SL willing to obtain Russian-built nuclear power plant. Government to consult India before signing agreement with Russia. Earmarked to be either in Trincomalee, Hambantota or Mannar. Sri Lanka is considering selecting one of 3 locations from Trincomalee, Hambantota or Mannar for the proposed Russian mini-nuclear power plant, and the Sri Lankan government intends to consult India before signing an intergovernmental agreement with Russia. Moving on, let's look up next on the finance segment of Ceylon Today. February 2023 tourist arrivals highest in 2 years. Sri Lanka welcomed more than 107,639 tourists during February 2023, which is the highest number of arrivals recorded during a single month this year and since February 2020. According to the Sri Lankan Tourism Development Authority, the country welcomed more than 210,184 tourists during the first 2 months of this year. China calls for global lenders' involvement in developing nations' debt. Chinese Foreign Minister Qin Gang called on global financial institutions to play an active role in restructuring the debt of developing countries. China, the world's largest bilateral creditor, has criticized multilateral lenders for not accepting losses or haircuts on loans to low-income countries, while Beijing is being asked to do so on the credit it has extended on its own. President opens electric vehicle assembly plant in Mineria. Declaring open an electric vehicle plant in Mineria, President Ranil Wickremesinghe said that a foundation is presently being established to advance Sri Lanka's economy to a global level over the next 5 years. With a collaborative production partnership with India, Volta Auto Tech Engineering Private Limited will assemble electric motorcycles and three-wheelers in Sri Lanka. Repayment of known 67.7 billion rupees maturities due by the 10th of March. Central Bank of Sri Lanka, on behalf of the Government of Sri Lanka, will have to repay maturing treasury bills of known tenures totaling of rupees 67,694 million to the market by the 10th of March. State Bank of India completes first commercial trade in LKR. The State Bank of India on the 2nd of March said it completed its first non-dollar transaction with Sri Lanka by paying for exports in Sri Lankan rupees as India looks to bring countries that are short of US dollars into the trade mechanism. The move comes as Sri Lanka grapples with its worst economic crisis since its independence, triggered by a shortage of dollars. The island's nation forex reserves stood as 2.1 billion US dollars as of end January. And that was it for last week's recap. This is Vishvavahini Digital E-News signing off with Madhvi. Thank you so much and have a great week ahead.